Welcome to the channel. My name is Mason, and today I'm going to be showing you how to pack for backpacking. Alright, we're going to start with the essentials. This is my tent. I have it currently in a compression sack because it does not fit inside of my backpack. But usually if you have a backpack, it's not that hard to just fit it in there, but you need to bring a tent. There's plenty of different kinds you can bring. You know, if you're an ultralight person who wants to pack the least amount of weight possible, there's plenty of tents out there that aren't crazy expensive that you could swing. And honestly, I would just recommend using whatever tent you have. Like this one is probably a 20-year-old REI tent I got from my parents, but it still does the trick. You know, packs down pretty light, and compression sack definitely does a lot of the heavy lifting here. But this is not a necessity to have. You can definitely fit it in this big bowl. So I would start with the heavier stuff on first. So definitely start with your tent. Alright, so these kind of are three essentials here. Got my tent. This is a pretty old REI tent I have in a compression sack because I'm not really sure if it's made for backpacking, but you know, I would recommend kind of using whatever works for you. You know, you don't have to go out there and buy the newest backpacking tent to just go out there and have fun. So next we got the sleeping bag. Gotta have a sleeping bag. I got the Kelty Cosmic Down 20. You know, if you ever want to spend a little money, get a little comfort there, I would definitely recommend going with a down sleeping bag. You know, I was not a believer in having a nice sleeping bag, but honestly, now I'm kind of getting anything that works for me, that lets me get sleep, you know, wherever I'm camping. So whatever works for you, but the down sleeping bag's kind of the way to go. And then after the sleeping bag, sleeping pad. You need a sleeping pad. The amount of people that I've been on camping trips with that don't have a sleeping pad and just freeze throughout the night is kind of insane. So I got a Big Agnes Boundary Deluxe. This is kind of an expensive one because it's insulated, so it's for multi-season use, but honestly, anything works. I would just not be sleeping on the ground in your tent. That is a quick way to freeze, and even if you got a nice sleeping bag like this one, it's not going to do you too much good if you're sleeping on the ground. So definitely recommend getting a nice sleep setup. These are the three of your most important items. Always have these. And yeah. Alright, first step's gonna be choosing a backpack. So I would highly recommend actually getting a backpack that is for backpacking. If you go out there with your school backpack, you're not gonna have enough room to pack everything that you need to bring. So this is an example of like a 45-liter backpack or something that's good for like an overnight trip. And then on the other hand, we have a huge 60-liter backpack that you use for multiple day trips, and if you need to pack out a lot of food or just bring, I guess, everything kind of at once, you could do this as well. But for ease of use today, we're going to be packing this one. And then finally, got my cook system. So I bring a bear vault because here in the Rocky Mountains, you know, I like to not gamble. I've had a couple close encounters with bears, and pretty strong. So I prefer not to have food just laying out in my tent. You know, you don't have to get exactly this, which keeps all my food safe from bear. You know, I usually have a little more food in here, but not right now. But you can get a bear bag or something. Just do not keep your food in your backpack or in your tent, because then the bear is going to go right to you, and then you're going to make a new bear friend, and you don't want to do that. So keep all your food somewhere safe, away from your camp, ideally. And then also have something to cook your food with. I would not, you know, it's never fun bringing crappy food. For a long day hiking, you know, just make whatever you can. So I usually bring this jet boil, which is just a single stove burner. Pretty simple stuff, but it's super easy. Like I usually just bring a ramen or something I can just heat up that's kind of quick, but is still worth eating. So I bring the jet boil here. It does the job pretty well. I'll make some tea in here, I'll make some coffee. You know, it's a pretty multi-use thing. And you gotta bring the fuel as well. That is one caveat. You gotta bring your fuel if you're gonna bring the jet boil, but it is well worth it because it will save you out there. And then I have this is a GSI Outdoors Cook Kit. This is if I'm feeling like outdoor boys and I really just want to cook up an absolutely exquisite meal. You know, it's got all the forks, knives, spoons. It's got a cutting board, a knife, just about everything you need in here. This is definitely not necessary, but You know, sometimes I get sick of making ramen in this thing all the time. So, you know, I like to switch it up. See what I can do. It also has an emergency poncho. This is a necessity. Always bring something to keep you out of the rain. Being rained out sucks. I've been backpacking a couple times where I didn't have anything to protect me from the rain. All my stuff gets soaked. This could be for you, or it could be for your backpack. Just bring something that's gonna protect you from the rain, because that's the last thing you want to do is just get absolutely soaked and have all your stuff be muddy. Don't learn that the hard way. Quick side note here, guys. If you don't want to be spending too much money on a nice sleeping pad, you know, up to you. You could definitely get this nice closed cell foam one. I think I got this from Sierra for about 20 bucks. It works, you know, does the job. I actually use it for a sitting pad, so, you know, if I don't bring a chair with me, if I'm into deep backcountry, I kind of just pop it out and sit anywhere. But this is a good alternative for this. It's a little cheaper too, so, you know, not everyone needs a insulated sleeping pad. So something to keep in mind there. Definitely a lot of fun to bring as well. Kind of just pop it down and sit anywhere. Pretty nice. So honestly, you could bring both too. Sometimes I do. And then here we got the final necessity. So this is just a little camp light I like to hang up in my tent. It's got multiple colors, you know, so it doesn't attract all the bugs. So just a little camp light here, hang up in the tent. Super nice. Not a necessity, but kind of is if you don't want to stay out in the dark or if you don't have a fire going. A lot of fire bans here in Colorado, so you're not getting a fire every night, unfortunately. A lot of times that's all you got. You got the little blue reading light, so does the trick. Headlamp. You need a headlamp too. Some people say you won't, but if you gotta go pee in the middle of the night, need it. If you're getting up really early, go hike, you need it. Headlamp is a must. Kind of continuing the theme here with sleep items. We got two different pillows here. One's an ultralight inflatable pillow, and then the other one is an avalanche insulated one. So they're both inflatable pillows, but this one is pretty much just like sleeping on air. You know, some people really are not a fan of inflatable pillows. Most people honestly don't even bring them, but I kind of need a pillow. I figured that out. I wasn't able to get a lot of sleep without a pillow, so definitely something I would recommend bringing, whether it's, you know, insulated one or just straight air. I would definitely bring a pillow, you know, whatever is going to get you that sleep so you can get up and, you know, keep hiking the next day. All right, now that we've got kind of all of our camp set up here, gotta have this water filtration system. You know, you can boil your water all you want, but that's not going to save you from bacteria, all that other stuff. So, you know, I would find something that you're actually going to use. A lot of times I find myself kind of getting lazy after a full day of hiking and backpacking. I don't really want to clean my water, which is not a good thing. We'll learn that the hard way. I would kind of pick whatever filtration system you think works the best. You know, I have the Sawyer squeeze here, so I literally just squeeze it out, this into this, and it filters. So it works pretty well for me, but I know there's ones that are automatic as well. Some of them have a bag where you hang it up in a tree and it filters down. So you kind of don't have to do any work for that one. Pretty nice alternative there, but you definitely have to have a water filtration system because you'll be drinking all of your water when you're hiking, and you'll learn that very fast. You did not bring enough. All right, my last two items here. Hammock. Now this is not necessary at all, but I usually don't bring a chair or anything, so I like to relax a little bit after a full day hiking. So I usually bring these and then I string them up in a tree and hang out. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend looking at Sierra Trading Outpost if you haven't already. They have some great deals on hammocks. If you think it's too expensive for you, you get the whole set for under $40. And a hammock's always a fun thing to have for sure. And now we're on our last step, packing the backpack. It's the easiest part. I would start with your heavier items and your bigger items that are going to take up more space. So obviously, you know, if we're bringing this big boy along, if we're bringing the bear vault, this is going to go in first with our tent, and pack the heavier items on the bottom. Just shove it in there. And then start. Just keep stuffing. yeah, that's about it, guys. It's pretty simple. You know, packing your own backpack, it might seem a little like kind of checklist. You know, you gotta have everything, but you know, I just want to share this with you guys because this is what I learned after my many trips. You know, this is kind of really all you need. And honestly, half the stuff in here you might not even need. Might not need a cook kit, might not something. So I would just recommend finding what works for you. You know, if there's a piece of gear you really want, go get it. You know, do whatever you want, and see you guys in the next one.